Friday afternoon, the producers called me to their office and they said, we need for Spock to do a song, to sing a song on Monday, and it should have an Elizabethan feeling about it. Is there a song that you can think of that we could use? And I said, well, let me think about it over the weekend. And over the weekend, I wrote a song called Maiden Wine, and I sang it on camera in the show. We filmed it on the following Monday, and it went something like this. Take care, young ladies, and value your wine. Be watchful of young men in their velvet prime. Deep without swallow for your finest kegs, then swiftly be gone, leaving bitter dregs. There's a frog in my throat and I'm having trouble singing. Man offers little and asks for so much. Loves in the breathless excitement of night, and they leave with your treasure in cold morning light. Ah, cold morning light. With smiling words and tender touch, man offers little and asks for so much. He loves in the breathless excitement of night, then he leaves with your treasure in cold morning. Ah, cold morning light. Ah, cold morning light. Ah, cold morning light. Listen to this. The handsome, talented guitarist on my left is my grandson, Leonard Nemoy. He's very talented, going to be a great guitarist. He's a good, very good guitarist now. Going to be great soon. Okay, let's have some questions. How you doing, Salt Lake?
Yeah!
I'm so happy to be with you. Who's this young man at the microphone? What's your name?
Elon.
Say it again. Speak into the microphone. What's your name?
Elon.
John?
Elon.
Okay, I got you. That's a great hat. Where'd you get that hat? Okay, I shouldn't be asking questions. You're the one that has to ask the question. Go ahead.
What's your favorite Star Trek ship?
My favorite? What's the question?
What's your favorite Star Trek ship?
My favorite Star Trek movie? Is that what you're asking?
What's your favorite Star Trek ship?
The ship of the Enterprise, of course. Okay. Yes, sir. Step right up and speak into the microphone, please.
Hi,
Yeah.
What's your favorite science fiction TV show besides Star Trek?
I didn't realize that there are other science fiction shows besides.
Yeah!
I never knew that. Do you have other favorites besides Star Trek?
No.
Next question, thank you.
Hello, Mr. Nemoy. My name's James. I just was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what it was like to work with Gene Roddenberry.
Mr. Roddenberry, yes. Gene Roddenberry was a wonderfully talented, creative, interesting man. Very complicated man. We had an up and down relationship, but we had a father-son relationship. Sometimes you get along with your dad, and sometimes you don't. I always admired and respected him. He had a wonderful imagination. And he had a great and very sincere belief in the potential of mankind. That's what Star Trek was all about for him, to demonstrate, to dramatize the fact that mankind was as good as it gets, and that we could accomplish most anything if we put our minds and our hearts to it, that we have the brains to. You know that in the 60s when we were making the series, there was a book called I think it was called Chariots of the Gods, and a man named Eric von Daniken presented the possible idea that Earth had been inhabited many, many years earlier by aliens, people from another planet, and that they had left behind these great works that were unexplained, fantastic creations that they had left behind. And it made Mr. Roddenberry very angry that people believed that. He argued that anything that was accomplished on this planet was accomplished by mankind. And anything that could be accomplished would be accomplished by mankind. He was a great believer in our future. And he gave us a wonderful gift when he gave us Star Trek. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cubby, and I just wanted to, I love, one of my favorite things to watch is the animated series. I think it's like Scooby-Doo in space. And so I just wanted to ask you, what was that like making that? Did you, maybe what was your favorite part of that?
My favorite part of the animated series?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was difficult for us to enjoy each other because we very rarely came together to do those shows. The way those things are done, when the voices are recorded, you don't necessarily have to be in the same studio at the same time. So, and I was doing a lot of traveling during that time, doing theater around the United States and in foreign countries and working in films. And they would send me the script with my dialogue, the lines that I had to record. And I could go to a local studio, someplace, wherever I was, in whatever city in the United States or even in a foreign country. I could record my dialogue and send it to them, and they would lay it in on the image of Spock speaking those lines. And in many cases, I never saw or heard my fellow actors doing their performance. So it was a strange experience. It was so different from shooting the original series. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, but it was not the same kind of. We didn't have the same kind of camaraderie and chemistry that we had on the set when we actually acted together in scenes. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Hi. I was wondering, I never knew any of my grandpas, so would you be my grandpa?
Have you been following me on Twitter? Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, I'm on Twitter, and I have offered to take on honorary grandchildren and honorary sons and daughters, for that matter. We have a gigantic family, and you are now part of my family. You are my honorary grandchildren.
Sister, and so I never knew any of my grandparents either, and I was wondering what kind of grandfatherly advice would you give to someone like all the people here?
What a great question. What is that? Do you have a makeup on? I can't see.
Yes, I have a lot of makeup on.
You're doing what?
I have lots of face paint on, so don't worry
What
about
color is it? Is it green or blue?
It's gray.
It's green?
Gray.
Gray?
It's kind of green.
What does that makeup mean to you?
It's a costume.
I think it's fascinating, if you'll pardon the expression, fascinating. Take your time, relax, and speak into the microphone so I can hear you clearly. What is it that prompted you to do this makeup?
It's a costume, it's a show. I love dressing up. It's fun.
Okay. Are you from any particular place that I should know about?
Salt Lake City.
What is your name?
Sarah.
Sarah from Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Haley. One of my questions is, what was your favorite episode to shoot?
How many questions do you have?
Well, I actually want to show you my tattoo that's on my leg that actually is of Spock. So,
You want me to see a tattoo? Yeah.
I don't know if I can see it up here though. See if we can get to where you can.
The lighting is making it a little difficult for me to see what it is. What is it? I can't see it from here.
It's Spock. It's
You
you.
said Spock?
As Spock.
I think that's very appropriate.
I was
Okay,
actually hoping
good.
you'd be around so that I could have you sign it so I can get it tattooed.
I wish I could be there. I really do. But I'll tell you, this Skype thing is a blessing for me because it makes it easy to meet thousands and thousands of people that I would not get to meet otherwise. So I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, what was your favorite episode to shoot?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, when you say to shoot, I think as a director, because as a director I'm shooting film.
Comcast.
You hear me now? I think it helps when I take my finger off the microphone. I really enjoyed, I guess, the one episode that I always go to as being so meaningful to me was an episode called Amok Time, where Spock had to go home. On a sad note, Arlene Martell, who was the actress who played, I think her name was T'Pring, that Spock was supposed to be married to, she just passed away about a week or 10 days ago. Lovely lady. It was a very important episode for me because it was the first time that we were going to Spock's home planet of Vulcan, the first time we were seeing other Vulcans. We'd never seen another Vulcan before. So, and it was the first time, it was a beautiful script written by a great science fiction writer named Theodore Sturgeon. And the words live long and prosper was spoken for the first time in that episode. And this was seen for the first time in that episode. Live long and prosper, LLAP, and the hand gesture became iconic factors for me and for Star Trek, and for that reason, I think that was perhaps the most important episode for the Spock character. Thank you for your question. Take
We're
care.
gonna show you something. We're gonna take the camera down and show you this tattoo so you can see this tattoo.
Good. I want to see it. Okay, good. Paley, is that your name, Paley?
Haley. It was an artist named Jesse Carlton at Zen Tattoo.
Where was that?
Zen Tattoo here in Salt Lake.
In Salt Lake?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm very flattered. You carry me around for the rest of your life, maybe. Okay, hi.
Hi, my name's Amir.
Hello, Mayor.
Good to meet you. Love your work. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So last year, William Shatner was here.
Who?
story about how you used to ride your bike to the recording studio every day. And he said that they used to play pranks quite a bit. And there was this one time where he hoisted your bike from the rafters and they had the spotlights on it. And my first question was, first of all, did you get him back? And do you remember that, you know? And that was my first question. And my second one...
I remember very well. He thinks he's funny, but he's not. As a matter of fact, we were able to turn the joke on him one time, very seriously. I'll tell you this, if you want to hear the story, I'll tell it to you. Want to hear it? So he thought it was fun to play jokes on people like that, to do things like that, to hide stuff and what have you. DeForest Kelley, who of course played Dr. McCoy, was such a wonderful DeForest had a very lovely habit of coming to work every morning, and the first thing he would do would be to go to the food table. We called it the craft service table, the food table, and he would get himself a muffin. He would slice it in half, put it in a toaster, press the toaster down and wait for the toast to pop. And when he got his muffin, he would butter it and then have that with his coffee. That was his morning treat that he gave himself every day. Mr. Shatner decided that he was going to play a joke on DeForest Kelley. So one morning when D. Kelley came in and sliced his muffin in half and he put it in the toaster and he pressed a button, Mr. Shatner had somebody distract him. Somebody called him and said, "D, come over here, we need you here for a moment." And D walked away a few feet. Mr. Shatner popped the muffin up out of the toaster and he ate it. DeForest Kelley came back to the toaster and he sees that there's no muffin there, so he's kind of confused. I thought I did my muffin, but it's not there. Maybe I was double tasking or something. I'll do it again. So he did it again. He sliced the muffin, put it in the toaster. Mr. Shatner again had somebody distracted. "D, come over here, please, come over and take it." And Kelley came back and now realized what Shatner had been doing. He got very, very angry. And I said, "D, I wouldn't worry about it. If you stand the two of you, you and Shatner side by side, it's easy to see who's been eating the muffins."
The Bilbo Baggins video, okay? I have to admit, I love that. I actually saw it, but what was that like? What led up to it? What was that?
Well, you mean, what the song? What was it all, what happened? How did it happen?
No, I know what the song was about. Just, was it fun and it's just marketing?
Yeah. I made several albums of music in the late 60s, early 70s. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed music. I don't consider myself a singer, but they came to me and asked me if I would record some stuff, and I said, okay, why not?
You sound
We'll
great.
have some fun.
Yeah.
And a very talented gentleman named Charles Grion was producing these albums of my music. And one day he said, I've got this idea, and this was many, many years ago. This is over 40 years ago. And he said, there's these books about the hobbits and the Tolkien books. And he said, I've written a song that I think might be fun for you to record. So I thought, I said, that's catchy. And I read some of the Tolkien books and the material, and I thought, that's kind of fun. That's all there was to it. I just went in the studio and recorded it. And it became this thing that people have been talking about for 40 years.
Well, I love it.
The brave little hobbit whom we all admire. That's it, you know. If we had a good time, we did it. We did it. That's what we did.
Thank you so much. Thanks for doing that.
Hi, Mr. Nemoy. I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind saying, "This is Spock, I'm not available, please leave me a message."
You want me to say, this is Spock, I'm not available, leave me a message?
Yeah, please.
I just said it.
Thank you.
Did someone put that on his telephone?
I hope
His question was, what is left for Spock to fulfill his legacy? So like, what's next for your character, Spock?
What's next for Spock?
Yeah.
Whoa. Well, first, let me talk to me about your dad. Where is your dad?
I'm not sure. I know he's back there somewhere.
Is he in the hall?
No, he's in here. He's in the room.
He's in the room someplace.
Yeah.
And he sent you to ask this question?
Yeah, because he doesn't have a VIP pass.
He doesn't have it? Oh.
Yeah. But he's
You
a
have a
huge fan.
VIP pass and he does not?
Yeah.
Wow. How did that happen?
He's a really good dad, so he gave me the VIP.
That's a good dad. Gave
Yeah.
you go to the VIP pass.
Okay, the guy that's down here just, Dad, you can come up, he said. I don't know where you are.
It can be a VIP for a moment.
Yeah, he's coming up.
He's coming, okay. Hey, here he comes.
Yeah.
All right, a big hand for a good dad. Hey, Dad, nice of you to give the VIP pass to your daughter. Good for you. Good for you. Now give me the question again.
Give you the question again?
Yeah.
I was just wondering what was next in Spock's legacy. What is left for him to do, following from the beginning of the series all the way up to the latest movies?
Yeah.
What would you have him do next?
The last we heard from Spock, he was off doing some work as an ambassador, and I truly wish. I'm going to try to get in touch with him because we need his help right now. We need his help in the Middle East. We need his help in Ukraine. We're really good. We need his help with that. I'm going to tell him you asked. I'm going to tell him that we're concerned about where he is and what he's doing, and maybe he can help us out. Okay? Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
Mr. Nemoy.
Hi. What's that on your head?
Hello, Mr. Nemoy.
Hi.
I've been wondering this question for a while. From the original series to 2009, when they asked you to play Spock again, what was your reaction to that?
What was what?
What was your reaction in 2009 when J.J. Abrams asked you to play Spock again?
Oh, yeah. I was really very touched and very flattered. I had never met him before. I did, actually, the strange thing about it is I knew his father. I knew J.J. Abrams' father, who was a television producer, and I had worked for him maybe 25 years ago. But anyway, Mr. Abrams called me and introduced himself, and he said that he was going to be directing the next Star Trek film. Would I come and have a conversation with him? And I thought that he would, he would want to hear my stories about Star Trek and what I thought Star Trek should be about, and what was my experience as an actor and so forth. And what he told me was that he felt so strongly about the show, about Star Trek in general, and the Spock character very specifically, that he wanted very much to know if I would care to be involved in the film. And he gave me some ideas about what he thought about Spock. I was very flattered. I was very touched that this person from another generation came to me and talked so intelligently and so passionately about Star Trek and about Spock specifically, that I said I would be happy to do it. We've become very good friends, and we've worked together a couple of times now. He's in England right now, directing, if you can believe it, directing the next Star Wars film. And I wish him well. It's a gigantic jump from Star Trek to Star Wars. They're so different. But he's a very talented man, and I'm quite sure he'll do a good job. But my reaction was that I was very flattered and very touched. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Nemoy.
Hi.
My name's Andy, and I was just wondering, for the audience and for the whole world, what would you say is how does one live long and prosper in real life?
Good for you. Good for you. That's a great question. You know, I'll tell you, seriously, you give me it's very close to my heart. I have a medical condition that's known as COPD. It's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And probably, I was a smoker for many years. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah?
now, yes.
I smoked for many years. I was a heavy smoker. I tell people that I was actually a championship smoker. If there had been a World Series of smokers, I could have qualified. You know? It was a silly thing, but I was really addicted to it. There was no benefit from it. I just stuck with it, and I just did it for many years. Now, I quit over 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. So that's the good news. The bad news is that I did a lot of damage to my lungs during those years that I was smoking, and that, as a result, I have a limited breathing capacity. So if I try to run or if I walk too fast, I get out of breath very quickly. And I have been urging people not to get involved with smoking or nicotine in any form. It's a terrible habit. It's terribly addictive. And as a matter of fact, on my Shop LLAP website, we've been giving away buttons that say, I quit LLAP, live long and prosper. So the best advice I can give today, the first and most simple advice is don't ever smoke, and if you do smoke, try to quit as soon as possible because it's very damaging. Thank you for your question.
Yes, my plan was to ask a question, to ask you to tell a story about a time with you and DeForest Kelley, and I love those stories so much, and you just shared one. I was wondering if you could share a story, something like that about one of the other cast members, just a fun memory you have of anybody back in the days.
Well, I love all of those people. I love them all. They're all wonderful people and very talented people. Nichelle and George and Walter, who we haven't mentioned yet, Nichelle Nichols and George Takei and Walter Koenig, all wonderful and talented people. George Takei has a very interesting documentary that's playing around the country now called To Be Takei. It's a very good documentary. It tells a very interesting story about the fact that he was interred in an internment camp during the Second World War. Many people probably don't know that during the Second World War, the American government rounded up Japanese people of Japanese origin who were American citizens and put them into internment camps in various places around the country for fear that they might be dangerous as Japanese spies or whatever because we were at war with Japan. And George lived in one of those as a very, very young boy and went through that sad experience. It was a very, very bad time for him. He's a very smart, very talented, very strong social activist, and I like him a lot. Walter Koenig was hired to play Chekhov at a time when the Beatles were hot. And the producers and the network decided that we in Star Trek should have somebody that sort of played to that Beatles audience. So they put a kind of a Beatles wig on Walter Koenig, and they hired him to play Chekhov. It had been suggested that we should have a Russian on the crew, so he was our Russian. He created that accent, he created that character. And they thought they were going to get somebody who could play to that kind of audience. What they got was an actor, a really good actor. Walter Koenig is a good actor. And any scene that he's in, or was in any of the shows that he did with us, he always knew what his function was, and he always did a very good job. Nichelle, beautiful, smart, talented lady. To this day, I love her. She's all of those people. They're wonderful people. Besides, of course, Mr. Shatner and DeForest Kelley. I have great, great, fond memories and feelings for all of them. Thank you for your question.
How do you like the ears?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, barely.
My name is Ken Curtis, and my dad died of advanced emphysema in 2006 from smoking. I also urge nobody to smoke, but since my dad died, would you consider adopting me too?
Consider yourself adopted, yes.
You've been involved with Star Trek from the very beginning and are still today, as I understand, but what would be your favorite moment in all of the different Star Trek situations you've been in? What's your favorite moment throughout the Star Trek?
What a question. So many, so many. You know that we're in September now. 50 years ago right now, we were preparing to film the first Star Trek pilot. We started filming in November, 50 years ago. This coming November will be the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the shooting of the very first Star Trek pilot. I think it might be interesting for you folks to know that when we made the first episode, there was a moment where we were on the bridge and we were being threatened by something that was dangerous, that was up on our screen. And as I recall, we would try to dodge it. It would be right there in front of us again. We'd go right, we'd go left. It was always right there in front of us again. There was a lot of tension and agitation on the bridge about what to do and how to deal with this thing. And Spock had one word to say. And they came to me with a camera, and I said, "Fascinating." And the director came to me and said, "No, wait. Don't get excited. Be the cool, rational scientist." And I think that's the moment where I really understood what Spock could be about. And instead of all that anxiety and emotion and tension, I simply said, "Fascinating."
And I'm sure it's the way you said it. Fascinating.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Nemoy. My name is Devin. It's a pleasure.
Hi.
Well, I have a question. I understand that you had somewhat of an influence on the way that the great Vulcan greeting was handled, and basically what I'm asking is, how has your heritage influenced the way you acted out this role of Spock, and maybe an example or two of how you shaped the character through just interacting with the director and so forth?
Yeah. Well, if I understand your question correctly, you're talking about how the character was developed? Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, sir. And how you influence that character, and specifically, I'm thinking in terms of the Vulcan hand gesture that
you mean this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some of you probably heard the story, so maybe many of you have. I'm going to be very brief about it. It was the episode called A Mock-Time, which I mentioned earlier, and we were seeing other Vulcans for the first time, and I thought Vulcans should have some kind of a greeting when they meet, and I said that to the director. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, humans shake hands when they meet, and civilian people salute each other when they meet. Asian people bow to each other when they meet. So I think the Vulcan should have some kind of a greeting." He asked me what I would suggest, and I reached back into my Jewish childhood when I was raised in an Orthodox Jewish family. And when we went to holiday services, I remember when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was impressed by these gentlemen who were sort of a men's chorus and chanting a prayer for the congregation. And as they chanted this prayer with a loud chanting, almost kind of a revival kind of meeting kind of emphasis, and they had their hands stuck out in that gesture towards the congregation. I saw that and it stuck in my mind. I didn't realize it would come in handy someday, but I began to work on how to do it. And I suggested to the director that we do that. And that's how that's how it was introduced in the Star Trek. Okay? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hannah. My family Trek, so
Wait.
yeah.
Did you say your family is a pretty big fan of Star Trek?
Yes, my dad.
How does that work? That's sort of Star Trek is on tonight. Maybe we'll watch it. Maybe we won't. Let's see what else is on. Let's see what else is on, and we'll decide if we're gonna. What's your question, my dear?
My question is, what was your favorite role to play? Whether it be Spock or someone from like a TV show or any sort of genre.
Oh yeah, well, I've been so lucky. I have played probably 150 different roles in different TV shows and in the theater. I did musicals around the United States. I was Tabitha in Fiddler on the Roof. I played King Arthur in Camelot. I did My Fair Lady. I did a one-man show called Vincent, about Vincent van Gogh, which I did about 150 times around the United States, and there's a very good actor now named Jean-Michel Richaud who's performing the play that I wrote, the play called Vincent. So many wonderful experiences, and but the fact is, I am best known for Spock. And that's fine with me. The Spock character is a character that I really love and admire myself, and I respect the character. I've always enjoyed being known as Spock. It's fine with me. It's a great question because there's been a lot of other work. But the fact is that Spock will always, when this is all over, they'll say he was the guy who played Spock. And that's okay with me. Thank you.
I have a really quick, not even a question really. I just want to do a shout out to my aunt, and I was hoping you could say, I love you, Kathy.
You want to say, you what?
I was hoping you could say, I love you, Kathy.
I love you, Kathy?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, That was easy.
Hi, my name is Danielle, and well, it was kind of disappointing that you couldn't be here, but I was wondering if you could go to the next Comic Con.
I have to stop. I'm having trouble hearing you. You have to be a little louder, please, into the microphone.
I was wondering if you could come to the next Comic Con here in Salt Lake next year.
Next year, Salt Lake Comic Con? The good of the many outweighs the good of the few or the one, I guess. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing Spock and how you did him and stuff. My question is, how did you come to play him the way that you did and decide how he is?
Well, as I said before, I was given a help at the very beginning by a very wise director who said, play the scientist. Play this person who's thoughtful and studying the issue rather than getting emotionally caught up in it. And I've slipped into that very comfortably, and it was successful. Now, having said that, it is very important for people to understand that we, the actors, come on the soundstage to play these scenes. We don't make it up. Somebody else has sat in those days, a typewriter or a computer, and worked very, very hard to come up with the material that we are performing. The writers deserve an awful lot of credit. We have some great and wonderful writers. They deserve recognition. The actors come off seeming so smart and so wonderful and so terrific, and maybe we are smart and wonderful and terrific, but it's hard to do all that without good writing. Okay. Thank you for your question.
We have time for one more question. ask that question, we want to show you, the whole audience, because everybody here just loves you.
Hello. My name is Isaac, and my question was, how did you come to play Spock? Did you audition, or was it
Okay. I was working fairly successfully as an actor before Star Trek, working in television, occasional movies. And I played a guest starring role in an episode of a series called The Lieutenant. It was a series that starred Gary Lockwood, and it was produced by Gene Roddenberry. And I was hired to do a role in one episode of that show. Mr. Roddenberry saw the show. He was away when we were filming it, but I remember when he came back to town and saw the footage, he contacted my agent and he said, I'm developing a pilot for a Star Trek series, for a science fiction series called Star Trek, and I have a role in mind for Leonard Nemoy. Could we meet? And I went in and met Mr. Roddenberry, and he began showing me around the studio. He took me to the wardrobe department and showed me the clothes that were being designed. He took me to the set design department and showed me the designs on paper of the spaceship Enterprise. He talked about the various characters, and he started to talk about this Spock character. And while I had thought that I was going to be auditioned for this role, what I discovered and learned that day was that Mr. Roddenberry wanted to offer me the role and was telling me all about the series in the hopes that I would be interested. What interested me most when he talked about Spock was that he described Spock as being half human and half Vulcan, having been born of a human mother and a Vulcan father, and he would have this conflicting interior life, emotion versus logic. I found that very interesting and very challenging and useful as an actor, and that's how I decided to take the role, and that's how I got it. Thank you. What a great question. Thank you.
We would like to show you the audience. They're all here. They came to hear you. Here they are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you so much for being here for our very first ever Skype conference call.